Okay, we are 2 weeks into the class, and we're finally now going to start our first design topic. And so we're going to learn how to design a beam for flexure. I think I'm going to break this up into 4 videos. First, we're going to just talk about the overall goal of what we're trying to do in terms of flexure design, so sort of the forest. And then we'll look at the individual pieces, the trees. We'll look at how to pick the amount of steel if you already have the size of the beam. Then we're going to talk about how to get the size of the beam. And then I'll do an example. So first of all, what do we mean by doing the flexure design for a beam? And so the basic task that we're confronted with is that we need to design a beam so that it meets all the requirements. And also I'll have a 5th lecture that will talk about all the little detailed requirements that the American Concrete Institute have. But anyways, you need to select your materials, what concrete strength, what F'(C), and what steel, what grade of steel. Usually for this class, I give it to you, so if the grading's not unmanageable, I'll say use F'(C) is 4,500 or use steel grade 60, etc. So what you're left to do is pick the size of the beam, the height and width, and once you've done that, pick the reinforcement. And so the unknowns, if you have to get the size of the beam and the reinforcement, again, wait, I'm gonna close my door just a minute. So what you're left with is to pick the height, the width, and amount of steel. And so we have 3 unknowns. And if you remember, we have 2 equations, T equals C and M equals T times Z. And so what happens if you have 3 unknowns and only 2 equations? So like X plus Y plus Z equals 4, 2X plus 3Y plus 6Z equals 0. How would you solve that, right? You don't have enough equations. And so what you would do, you would say, oh, let Z equal 1. And then now you have X plus Y plus 1 equals 4, 2X plus 3Y plus 6 equals 0. And you could solve that. So what this means is that there are an infinite number of solutions. I could pick any Z I want and resolve it. What this also means is that there's an infinite number of B, H, and AS that would satisfy equilibrium. And so that's why design, you shouldn't all get the same answer. And so there must be some way to do this. And so our basic strategy is first we're going to size the beam. And then once we get the size, we're going to determine the AS. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with this step first because it's easier. And then I'll show you how to do this. But when you are designing a beam, you will do this first and then this second, but I'm gonna teach you it in reverse order because the second step is easier to learn. Okay, so the next video I do will be given B and H, determine how much steel you need. And so I'm gonna stop the video and there we go.